is Dangerous, can't get a run. Here comes Catbird. He's rocketing down the outside. He's moved up to a line. Catbird hit the lead and he wins the slipper from a line. Third of Dangerous.
They do come through occasionally.
That, of course, was last week's Golden Slipper Stakes, and the excited man saying dreams, they do come true, was Frank Cleary, and he's here with me now with Simon O'Donnell. Frank, little bit of an explanation. You had a trinket with dreams written on it.
That's right, yeah, I got that at Laurie Daly's wedding in January, Ken, and everybody at the wedding got these little trinkets, and mine had dreams on it, and I said to my wife, Sue, I said, I'm going to keep that for luck, and I carried it all through the Black Opal series and all through his track work and whatnot, and on the day I thought, well, I'll carry it on the day, and to Laurie and Michelle, I'm pleased you put it on my table, because I think it's one of the only ones that had dreams on it, so dreams do come true, yeah.
Frank, we'll let you in on a little secret. While the Golden Slip was being run, you were standing in the enclosure watching the race on the big screen and live. We had a camera watching you just in case the horse won. Here's how you looked. Frank, I think it's fair to say you're a little bit excited.
I'm more than excited, you know. I think Ben was just as excited as I was. There's whole Herbie there. It's a wonderful feeling, Kenny. Absolutely marvellous feeling, mate.
Ben, of course, is one of Frank's sons. You've got a few boys, Frank.
Yeah, I've got 4 boys. I've got Matthew, Ben, Joseph, who's training on the Gold Coast, and my younger son, Dane. And unfortunately, Dane was the only one that couldn't be there because he replaced Joseph on the Gold Coast for the day. But they're good lads.
Frank, you've been to both ends of the scale, Clan O'Sullivan and now Catbird. After 92 and Clan O'Sullivan, was there an empty hole in your training career? You wanted to get back with another great horse and win the slipper?
I wanted to, Simon, yeah, for sure, mate. But when you're training the country, those sort of good horses don't come along, like slipper horses or Doncaster horses. They just don't come along when you're training the country. And I'm just so grateful to Mr. Jones that when he bought this horse, he thought it was a slipper chance, and he said, well, why don't we go and do it? And at the end of the day, we did.
There must have been a great belief in your own abilities, because Catbird's come through nearly an identical slipper preparation to what you did with Clan O'Sullivan, particularly through the Black Opal. And the Black Opal has been a bit of a black hole for horses winning the slipper. Now we can just have a look, and the excitement here must have been unbelievable.
Oh, yeah, I could see him. Actually, I looked at the big screen and they showed a little sideways shot about the 350-metre mark, and I could see him start to move into it. Then I thought, oh, well, here we go, big fella, just dig deep now. We got a slipper under our belt, and he dug deep all right.
When the going gets tough, the tough get going, Frank, and he did get going.
He got going all right, yeah.
Frank, what's it like? You know, you're all excited there. That's straight after the race. Everyone's cheering and that. But a week in the life of a slipper winner, I bet you haven't gone thirsty.
No, there's been no dehydration, Kenny. The boys up over made sure of that. No, there's no dry creeks this week, mate.
Plenty of partying?
Oh, yeah, plenty of partying and plenty of luncheons and plenty of that old-fashioned bullshit. But, mate, it's been great.
How's Sue handled it all, your lovely wife?
She's been great. She's been absolutely wonderful. She's had me shirt on about 11:30, ready to send me off for the day. And no, the kids have been great. They said, just mix the night feeds, Dad, and we'll fix up later on the Savo.
You mentioned Laurie Daly before. You're obviously pretty close to the Canberra Raiders.
Oh, yeah, I've been there since day one in 1982 when they first kicked off with David Grant as their captain, and I've stayed pretty close to the boys ever since. You know, I'm very good mates with Jason Croker and Ben Kennedy and Brandon Pearson and whatnot. So, no, we've had a really good association with the Raiders, and over the years they've raced some pretty fair horses too. They had that Gom Jabber, and Ricky's now got Farzak, and he's got another young one there by Rocco with me, with Alan Jones and John Massaro. So, yeah, we're pretty close.
Probably explains the long week, taking on a few swillers from the Canberra Raiders. It's not going to be easy.
No, they've been good, actually, because Mel's had them in check. He's got them training pretty hard, but no, there's a few other swillers around the place that have kept me honest, Simon.
So, Frank, you've had a bit of partying. You've had a good week. What about Catbird? What's he been up to?
Well, Catbird, he stayed around for the presentation that the ACT Racing Club made to him on Wednesday, and then he was straight on the float to Shipton on Thursday, so he's having a holiday at the moment now.
And when he comes back, what's the aim in the spring?
Oh, I think, you know, races in Melbourne like the Ascot Vale or Caulfield Guineas, but that's got to be sat down and worked out with Merlin and Ken Jones. We've sort of all been on a high all this week, and we thought we'll enjoy this week and sit down next week and work it out after the yearling sales.
An excited Frank Cleary, thanks for being with us, Frank. And of course, Merlin Connolly is Ken Jones's Australian manager, and I'm sure that Catbird will be aimed at many more Group 1s. Well, we haven't got a Group 1 coming up now, but we've got the Star City Handicap, and out in the betting ring is Andrew Voss.
And Kenny, it's been another good betting race, the Star City Handicap, and the two favourites in this, Beauchamp and Gracida, have got plenty of supporters. Right at the moment, as I look up at the rails bookmakers, Beauchamp is an outright favourite for Gay Waterhouse. Now, if you're looking for one to throw into your trifectas at great value, Kenny, number 12, Over the Rising, has had some support for it. It is tremendous value on the tote, so perhaps one to watch, trained by Vic Thompson, Over the Rising.
As long as you're not coming over the rising with it, Andrew, it sounds to me as though you've had a few bucks on it. Right, they're behind the barrier, Josh Sticks, and there is Over the Rising, and over there with them is Simon Marshall.
Yes, and came around looking pretty short, sharp and proper, actually, Kenny. Nice and bright in the coat, Over the Rising. Also, Irish Air also took the eye a little bit, coming around, nice and relaxed. Very, very fit horse. Bombast, the 7, yeah, could not fault whatsoever. Nice and relaxed. Give him a nice canter around too, and he's going to race good by the looking at him just behind the gates. Number 8, Beauchamp. Kevin Moses is right. Gay Waterhouse, yeah, he's probably the pick behind the gates in my opinion. Oh, Josh Sticks looked good going into the gates. Well, he's, the 1400 metres mightn't suit him. Vitronite is one that really took the eye. Very nice and bright. I don't think I've seen this horse look better after joining the Johnny Sizes stable. He's probably my second pick behind the gates, Ken.
Thank you, Simon. And Beauchamp is favourite on the tote, $4.10. Gracida into $6.20 from $9, pretty solid there. Obsessed easing a little, but still at $6.80. Josh Sticks similarly out to $7.30. Bombast, who goes well fresh and likes the edge off the track, is in from $15 to $12. And Alavana, TAB number 9, trained by Clary Connors, ridden by Shane Dye, is in from $19 to $13. A former Kiwi mare now in the Clary Connors stable. Right, it looks as though we're just about ready for action. There's Larry Cassidy on the inside on Bombast. He's got the number 1 barrier with in this race. Now, I think he's actually going to start from 2. There's a horse inside him there. Camera's just coming up above him. Nearly got that wrong. Valence is in 1. Valence, of course, to be ridden by Daryl McClellan, trained up at Newcastle by Peter Eggleston. Right, I just see a little bit of movement out wide. It looks as though they're just about ready for the Star City Handicap. The starter's ready. Terry Bailey is too, and here he is.
Flashing, looked a perfect line from here. Starter picks up the button. Gates crash back and they're racing, and Dibbles Dane flew out. Potomax Boy, Midwest out wide. Beauchamp and Irish Air jump well, and Alavana out deep on the track away quickly. Settling off the speed, Lord Gargantor, a length to Alman's Joy. Josh Sticks starting to improve on the fence, Bombast and the Cerise. They were followed out wider on the track then by Vitronite, getting well back as Obsessed, 2 lengths away, Gracida Over the Rising. Crimson second last, and on the fence for Lance last of all. Midwest crossed, and at the 950 went to the front, led by a length, tried to put on the brakes as Beauchamp rushed up to be second. 2 lengths away in the field is Potomax Boy, moving around Dibbles Dane. 2 lengths further afield then is Alman's Joy going around Irish Air. Alavana was next, 2 lengths to Bombast. Lord Gargantor wide, Josh Sticks the centre from Obsessed. Gracida taking off around the outside of Vitronite from Over the Rising. 3 lengths to Crimson, 2 lengths for Lance as they near the bend at the 500. It's Midwest in charge, leading by just on a length on Beauchamp. He's close enough if good enough, and starting to range up as they turn for home from Potomax Boy. Then Dibbles Dane to the outside, running on as Alman's Joy. Dye shouldering out on Alavana. She's running home well. Then Bombast, Irish Air, and down the outside Gracida. Beauchamp out full of running at the 200. He led by 2 lengths. Bombast is erupting out of the ruck from Alavana. It's Beauchamp in front. Bombast ran to second from Alavana. Josh Sticks Over the Rising, pelting home. Bombast after the leader. In front, Beauchamp clinging on, and he wins. Beauchamp has just won from Bombast. Josh Sticks may be third or Over the Rising. Alavana was next from Gracida, Dibbles Dane, Potomax Boy, Valence, Lord Gargantor, Alman's Joy, Crimson, Irish Air, Midwest, and Vitronite sadly out of form last home.
Well, he might be 47 years of age, Kevin Moses, and the horse might have come from the outside barrier, but he rode him an absolute treat. And number 8, Beauchamp, $4.10 and $1.80. Number 7, Bombast, second, $3.50. Number 1, Josh Sticks, steaming home alongside Over the Rising, as looks like to have grabbed third and has paid $2.90. And they are now official, 8, 7 and 1, as we take the close-up of Kevin Moses, who's extremely fit. No fitter jockey rides horses, and Moses just gets the favourite home in time to beat the desperate late dive of Bombast, who firmed in the betting for the Hawk stable but just didn't quite grab him. Right, across the track, that's Bombast bursting through with the cerise colours, chasing the leader, Beauchamp. In the green and white colours is Elavana. Outside of him in the red, white and blue is Jostix. And another horse to watch right out wide is Over the Rising in the blue and white with the red cap, just on the outside of Gracida in the maroon colours inside of him. But the winner just last, Bombast second, Jostix third, looks like Over the Rising fourth. I'd say Elavana fifth, and then out to Gracida in sixth placing. Simon Marshall, you congratulate Kevin Moses. He rode that like an 18-year-old.
Rode it like an 18-year-old, all right, and he's looking like one too. Fit, ready and raw, and Kev wide gate gave him a beautiful ride.
Yeah, he began very well, and everything worked to plan. That's what I like.
Homework plays a big part when you're going into races and whatnot, but you always need the horse to rely on day.
Well, Gay's got him fit. I've been riding him work, and I knew how fit he was, so I knew I could be there, use him a little bit, and he'd still have a bit at the finish.
Sit down and look good for the photo.
I will in the Donny.
You're riding Adam in a Doncaster, big race. You're the man when it comes to big occasions. You've got to give him a great chance.
Oh, he's very fit and he's well. I'm sure he'll run better than people think.
And the track's been upgraded, racing very well now, Kev.
Well, it suited me, so it'll suit Adam too.
One for the young guys there, Kenny. We'll go back to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Simon. He wouldn't have blown a candle out, Kevin Moses. He either rides a bike to the track of a morning or jogs over from his home nearby, and that's why he still had plenty of energy there at the finish to get Beauchamp home. Good to see, and he did a great job. And I know there were plenty of favourite backers giving him a great big cheer when they got near the post. Right, the numbers, as I said, were 8, 7 and 1. And, well, there is the winner, easing up Beauchamp after the Star City handicap. And as he comes back to scale, we'll go for a break on Sports Saturday. Beauchamp comes back to scale. Let's have a look at the dividends for race 4 here at Randwick on the numbers 8, 7 and 1. Beauchamp, $4.10 and $1.80 in New South Wales. 7 Bombast, $3.50. 1 Jostix, $2.90. The Quinella paid $26.20 in New South Wales, and $22.30 of course Super Tab, and $24.10 in Queensland. Right, that was race 4. Race 5 coming up next. The Blue Ribbon, the AJC Derby, and we've got some early totes for you. Number 1, Dignity Dancer is a clear favourite at $2.40. Arena is at $3.50. Sky Heights, nice price, $5.40. Lawyer at $8.20. El Duce at $37, I should say. Able Master from New Zealand at $60. And the Filly Grand Archway is at $7.60. Now, one of the most popular news segments we have on Sports Saturday is the Kellogg's Flashback. Here today, we've got a special racing edition of the Kellogg's Sustain Flashback.
Faintly on the toe, so is Falante, should catch them here. Off and running in the Australian Derby, came away in a nice...
It was billed as the Derby of the decade, the greatest of the modern era. Already this crop of outstanding 3-year-olds had claimed some of the most prestigious silverware in Australian racing. Octagonal, the Cox Plate, Saintly, the Australian Cup, and nothing like a day in the VRC Derby. Add to that mix the fast-improving Falante, and it's little wonder the 1996 AJC Australian Derby will be long remembered. As we pick up the race, the New Zealander Interval is happy to set the pace.
Interval led in a truly run derby by a length to nothing like a Dane. Royson third, getting a lovely run. A bit more than 2 to Falante, another 2 to Super Slew, and then Saintly followed by Reasons. Octagonal's about 8 lengths off the lead, maybe a little more, and then Peep on the Sly and Magic, and 3 lengths away last Sky Bow. past the 800 metres mark. Interval the leader by a half to nothing like a Dane. Royston Ferd hasn't covered 1 inch of extra ground. Volante is coming into it now, followed by Super Slew and then Saintly. Octagonal about to take off. 3 deep is starting to pick up these leaders as they near the turn, followed by Magic and then Reasons. Peep on the Sly and Skyboat tailed off under the whip as they come around the turn, where Nothing Like a Dane takes the lead. Nothing Like a Dane hit the front up the rise. Volante's the first to go after him. Here comes Saintly with Octagonal down the extreme outside, out after them now. Volante headed Nothing Like a Dane, further out Saintly, and here comes the big O. Octagonal with the last run at them. Volante, Saintly and Octagonal, they've come away from Nothing Like a Dane. Saintly and Octagonal, Beedman throwing everything at Octagonal. He gets there, yes, Octagonal wins the derby. Octagonal again by a neck to Saintly. Volante third, Royston fourth.
Well, this is just a wonderful feeling. I've always dreamt of winning an AJC Derby. I regard that as one of the most prestigious races in Australian racing, and to win it, it's just an exceptional thrill.
Well, Darren Beedman, that certainly was a moment of great pride for you as you won the Derby on Octagonal, but there's just a touch of irony in that when you look back, you knocked out your old mate Saintly.
Exactly. You know, it's a fantastic finish, and if you put Octagonal within half a length of any of those horses, you know, it's just a matter of him mowing them down. He was a fantastic horse, and you know, they run 2.5 seconds quicker than any other Derby run before on the calendar. It's pretty impressive.
And one man who was really cheering home Octagonal was a big fella next to you there.
It was great to see that again. And Darren, it looked in the last 100 when it was going to be touch and go whether you were going to run down Saintly. He actually found a bit more for you.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, you put him half a length within another horse, and no horse had beat him. He just had that will, that courage. He just pulled it out from, I don't know where he pulled it out because he was beat at the 600 metre mark, but
sticks his neck out.
He does, yeah, a real winner.
He wasn't going like a winner coming to the turn.
I'll tell you what, he was going better than me. I knocked up before he did.
Do you think you've got taller or wider since that 1996?
I think the camera's making a bit of a fool out of me.
Have you had a look at Octagonal in recent times? I know he's over in France now, it'll be a bit hard to, but...
I have. He looks exceptionally well, and he's got all that young stock coming through, and he's just really let down well. Probably let down better than me.
All right, well, we got the totes for the Easter Cup coming up at Caulfield. Simon, you know these horses better than me. Do you want to run through those white figures?
Yeah, Royal Caliph at $10, Von Ann at $6.90, one of the fancies, Prince Standarn at $7.50, Starbinder at $21, Willie Watt at $6.20, Esprit de Corps at $16, another one of the chances, Simply True at $19, Ildon at $8.40 from the Peter Hayes stable, Star Cossack isn't with us, Starasphere $28, Graceful Encounter $9.60 now, just moved in a little from $10, No Need at $9.40, Stonington at $25, Unfettered at $28, and Ken Majestic Avenue at $29.
Okay, that's the story in Melbourne, and if you think Darren's smiling very broadly now, his old mate Saintly is just parading behind us.
He looks fantastic, the horse. He's walking around like an old stage horse. There you can see him there. That's the way he used to walk around the enclosure when he was racing. Nice and relaxed, big loping stride. He looks picture perfect, doesn't he, Kenny?
He sure does, Darren. We better go for a break so you can go over and give him a pat. A break coming up, and then we'll be back with more racing on Derby Day on Sports Saturday.
He erased the oldest Australian track and field record from the books. But Lee Troop, the new master over 5,000 metres, is determined to run marathons. This fun-loving larrikin and his champion coach, Steve Monaghetti, tomorrow on Sports Sunday.
Rattle home too. Going to be a great derby finish. 200 metres out. Grand Stadium in front. Tackled by Like a Lover in the centre. And on the outside, Imagil, Like a Lover, and Grand Stadium take over the line. Lock together, camera. Imagil by an inch. And from Like a Lover, third an inch away is Grand
Ken
Stadium.
Howard was right, and Tommy Smith was congratulated left, right and centre by the racing media.
Yeah, great days. Imagil, Like a Lover, and Grand Stadium. You'd have been in about third class at school, wouldn't you?
I think I might have only been a thought in Mum and Dad's mind, to be brutally honest.
I was there. I was in the background. Okie dokie. The Derby, of course, is a big race here today. Race 5 from Royal Randwick. And here is some updated tote dividends. Number 1, Dignity Dancer at $2.50. Number 2, Arena at $3.40. Sky Heights at $5.40. $8 for Lawyer, $37 for El Duce. Able Master at $61, and Grand Archway, the only filly, is at $7.60. Right, in Melbourne, Simon, away you go.
Yeah, Royal Caliph number 1 at $10, Von Anne $7.30, Prince Standan at $8, Starbinder at $22, Willie Watt at $6, has firmed in from $6.20, Esprit de Corps at $14, Simply True $18, Il Don number 8 at $8.30 as we go over the page. Stars Fear at $32, Graceful Encounter $8.60, No Need $9.10, Stonington, Lucas Dowson on board $26, Unfettered $31, and number 15 Majestic Avenue at $27.
Yeah, and that's the Easter Cup at Caulfield. It looks like they're taking their place as we go live to pick up Vision from Melbourne. And Simon, have you got a fancy in the race?
Yeah, I have the horse actually going in there now, Esprit de Corps, a horse that's come over from New Zealand. They thought it actually had a jumping career. It ran close up behind Zuccarino in the Kilmore Cup over 1,600 metres at its last start. From barrier 11, may need some luck, but a horse that's on the up.
And you're not a chauvinist because there's a lady jockey and you don't mind selecting?
I don't mind that at all. And the other that's the big danger, I think, is Von Anne from the Bruce Purcell stable. So there's another lady, a bay mare of 6.
Okie dokie. There are 1 or 2 still to go in. Number 10 there in the pink and black colours is Star Sphere. Aaron Spiteri, who's riding very well, trained by Charlie Goggin, who trains in Tasmania and also has a stable at Geelong. Right, looks like they're ready to go. In the no, the boys seem to be looking backwards. Yeah, I knew there'd be one hiding there, Simon. Not one, there's a few.
You wouldn't believe it, would you, Ken? They could do that to us.
Charlie Goggin, of course, is father of the very good golfer Matthew Goggin.
There's number 15 going in there now, Majestic Avenue. Steve Richards, the trainer at Flemington. Eddie Cassar, who's on board. The man had plenty of luck with one of the champion 2-year-olds this year, Testarossa.
Yeah, Testarossa, I'd like to own him. All right, they're just about ready. Let's go to Melbourne to Greg Miles for the call of the Easter Cup.
Racing in the Easter Cup, and Unfettered began brilliantly. No Need snagged back towards the end. Ildon away quickly with Stonington going forward there. Prince Standan, Graceful Encounter, Von Anne easing back in the pack now, and Starbinder likewise on the inside. Willie Watt trapped out about 5 or 6 wide, middle of the field. The brakes have gone up in front. Stonington's left the leader from Graceful Encounter. Prince Standan unfettered the rails. Willie Watt's working around them to go towards the front. Then Esprit de Corps from Royal Caliph, a length and a half to Ildon Star Sphere. Von Anne between horses, followed then by Starbinder, Simply True, and 2 or 3 lengths to No Need next to last and Majestic Avenue. Graceful Encounter, the mare, leads them up on top of the rise at the back of the course near the 1200. A length to Willie Watt now second. Stonington enjoying a good run third on the inside. Prince Standan nicely placed fourth. Then came Esprit de Corps working wide around them into 5th placing. Followed further back by Royal Caliph on the outside of Unfettered. 2 lengths to Star Sphere. A length further back is Von Anne and Ildon together. 2 lengths then to Simply True and Starbinder. And a length and a half to No Need and Majestic Avenue. By the 1,000 down the side now. And here Willie Watt has gone to the lead. Graceful Encounter whipped off the fence and is now second. Prince Standan is third the outside. Esprit de Corps coming about 4 wide. And then came Stonington. Royal Caliph Unfettered back on the inside from Ildon and Star Sphere. Starbinder on the rail from Von Anne, about 7 or 8 from the leader, pulling out wide. Then No Need, Simply True, and Majestic Avenue. They're nearing the turn now, and Willie Watt being pressed by Prince Standan 3 wide, and Graceful Encounter in the centre. Then Esprit de Corps, who's been wide from Royal Caliph. Ildon coming through on the inside, and then Stonington when they corner into the straight now. Prince Standan, the leader from Willie Watt. Ildon the rail, and Royal Caliph coming down the outside with Esprit de Corps and Von Anne. Willie Watt, Ildon go up on the inside. Royal Caliph on the outside, and here comes Von Anne, last year's winner. Ildon on the rail. Royal Caliph is coming after him. Ildon from Royal Caliph. Ildon is fighting strongly. Ildon wins the Easter Cup by half a length to Royal Caliph. Von Anne third, and then Willie Watt, Prince Standan, followed by Starbinder. Just behind them, No Need and Majestic Avenue, and then Stonington. They were trailed by Simply True, Star Sphere, Graceful Encounter. Towards the end is Esprit de Corps and Unfettered.
Nicely ridden by Nashua Willa. Ildon gets to the front for Peter Hayes. and just pulls out plenty. I kept thinking that the top weight, number 1, Royal Caliph, George Hanlon's horse, was going to run him down, but he couldn't quite get there, and steaming down the outside in the gold and purple is Von Ann for Lincoln Coffee, who Simon mentioned pre-race, and she has grabbed 3rd prize. But Ildon fought on too well, and the numbers are 8, 1 and 2, 7.20 on Super Tab, and 2.80 the place for number 8 Ildon. Number 1 Royal Caliph at $3.40, and number 2 Von Ann has paid $2.90. On Sports Sunday tomorrow, there's a special interview with the coach of Newcastle, Warren Ryan. As we go to a break, let's hear a few of the things that Warren's got to say.
During the 80s, Ryan, along with Jack Gibson, was arguably league's most innovative and influential coach. A keen student of the game, he set up a brutal defence system, so effective and copied by others that the rules had to be eventually changed.
Canterbury was so good defensively that they could protect a 1-point lead for a fortnight.
Clary Lawyer, do you think he's still a genuine Derby chance?
Yeah, I do, Ken. Yeah, he had a little bit of a trouble, and you know, when your horse got any sort of trouble, you sort of never pushed him as much as you should. And he probably went into the race. I thought I'd done enough work with the horse. He's such a quite easy-going sort of fella. I hadn't done enough work with the horse, and you know, he moved up to that. It was a leash. Yeah, moved up the leash. Was going to beat him, and then the last little bit he couldn't, because they sort of they went a bit slow and they splintered, and he just wasn't fit enough just the last little bit.
You give him a bit ready for Saturday.
Yeah. Well, we've took him home, and that'll do him the world of good, that run. And you know, he's worked a fair bit of work since. He swims every afternoon also. So he'll be right for Saturday.
I'm sure he'll be right for Saturday. Another horse who was right for the parade today was Saintly, your old mate.
He was, Kenny. He looked absolutely fabulous there. You see him there. Brought back a lot of memories. That old nudge.
He won a few bob for Mr. and Mrs. Beedman.
Exactly. He kept the wolf away from the door. He'd be...
No wonder you give him a kiss. I don't think Kim would mind that.
Not at all. Yeah, I think he'd give this Derby a bit of a shake if he went round in it today.
Yeah, you'd like to be riding him.
Yeah, if you had about 65, it'd be all right.
OK, we better have a look at the horses. They're parading now for the 1999 AJC Australian Derby. And as we pick up number 1 Dignity Dancer, Simon O'Donnell, he's a horse you know a fair bit about.
Yes, look, he's tough, he's good, he's going to be right in the finish. He's going to be somewhere about. There's some question marks, lots of rumours going around during the week whether his work was a bit too good for what he usually does, and that the horse might be about at the end of his campaign, but you can never underestimate him.
Number 2 is Arena, and I know Darren Beedman thinks that this might be the horse who salutes.
I had a good look at him as he walked past his horse. He's certainly tightened up well since his last run last week in the Mercedes Classic, and as usual, trained by Johnny Hawkes, he turns his horses out in great order. The only thing that's going to be a question mark with him is the speed in the race, and he's drawn a little bit awkward out in 6, so it'll be up to Larry Cassidy to be at his best.
Yeah, he sure looks a picture, Arena. I have to agree with you. He has really come on nicely. Number 3, Simon Sky Heights from Melbourne, trained by Colin Alderson. Always looks a tiny bit on the toe, but he looks well.
Yeah, he certainly does look well. Colin Alderson would be extremely happy the way he's presented this horse today. He's just walked past us here now. Got a close look at him. His coat's on fire, and he has set him for this race, this campaign. He wanted him peaking on the day. I'm not the man to question that he hasn't. He looks fantastic.
He looks good enough to me. Number 4, Lawyer. You heard Clary Connor speak about him. He had a tiny setback before he ran in the Tulloch Stakes. As he said, he's giving plenty this week, and he looks apart.
He does. He looks well. He's a real striking-looking gallop. He's got a really nice head about him. I like horses with a good head, and he certainly has got that. He's got class written all over him, and he probably a little bit disappointing last start, as Clary said, but I'm sure Clary would have pumped it into him through the week.
The 2 New Zealanders are going to be battling. The first along is number 5, El Jusaid, to be ridden by Paul Taylor, and he's trained by Donald Logan at Ruaraka in New Zealand.
Yeah, I suppose, look, you don't underestimate any of the Kiwi horses that come over, but gee, running last in the Tulloch Stake last start and being beaten all of 6 lengths, it would need a hell of a lot of improvement to be competitive and in the first 3 in this derby.
Yeah, and number 6, Able Master, to be ridden by Greg Hall, is trained by Bruce Wallace at Takanini, and Darren, he's struggling a little.